Have you ever wondered how extremely frugal people seem to save money without feeling deprived? It's a Tuesday evening, and millions of people around the world are scrolling through TikTok or YouTube Shorts, hunting for quick hacks to save money. Rent has climbed higher in New York, groceries cost more in London, and even a cup of coffee in Sydney feels like a small luxury. Everywhere, the cost of living keeps squeezing people. In this new reality, saving money isn't just about cutting coupons or saying no to Starbucks. Frugal living has changed. It's less about being cheap and more about being smart, creative, and intentional. Extremely frugal people have developed new habits that help them stretch every dollar without feeling deprived. These habits are modern, clever, and surprisingly refreshing. This video dives into the 7 saving habits of extremely frugal people. You'll discover how frugal people are using fresh strategies, from hacking subscriptions to turning saving into a game. The goal isn't to live with less joy, but to gain more freedom. Because in today's world, frugality isn't about sacrifice, it's about survival and, ultimately, independence. Habit 1: they treat time like currency. Picture this. A man drives 40 minutes across town to save $5 on groceries. By the time he's back home, he spent 2 hours in traffic and nearly that much on gas. Did he really save money? Not quite. Extremely frugal people see these moments differently. They don't just count dollars, they count hours. To them, time is another form of money. If an activity eats up hours, but saves only a little, it's not a true bargain. This mindset has roots in economics. Researchers call it the time value of money, the idea that our hours have a price tag, even if we don't see it. In fact, recent studies show people who protect their time, instead of chasing small savings, report higher life satisfaction and even less stress. So while some chase every discount, frugal people weigh their choices like an investor. They ask, what's the real cost here, money or minutes? Sometimes they'll gladly pay for convenience if it frees up energy for bigger wins, like learning a new skill, building a side hustle, or simply resting. The lesson is clear. Frugal living isn't about doing everything cheaper. It's about choosing what's truly worth your time. Habit 2: they hack subscriptions creatively. Think about how many quiet charges leave your bank account each month. A gym membership you rarely use. 3 different streaming services. A cloud storage plan you forgot about. Subscriptions have become the modern silent leak in personal finance. Frugal people don't just cancel everything and live without. Instead, they treat subscriptions like a toolbox, using the right one at the right time and shutting it off when it's not needed. Some rotate streaming services, paying for Netflix in winter when new shows drop, then switching to Disney Plus in summer. Others share family or group plans across households, turning one monthly fee into value for several people. This approach is far from small. The global subscription economy is now worth more than $650 billion, and most households underestimate how much they spend on it each year. By staying alert, frugal people turn what feels like a fixed cost into a flexible choice. It's not about going without entertainment or convenience. It's about making sure every dollar has a job. In their world, subscriptions serve them, not the other way around. Habit 3: they embrace the repair and resell economy. A few decades ago, people fixed almost everything. Shoes were resold, radios repaired, and clothes mended. Today, many of us toss items out the moment they break. But extremely frugal people see opportunity in what others call junk. Instead of replacing a cracked phone screen or a wobbly chair, they learn to repair it or pay a small fee to someone who can. This habit saves money in the short term, but it also stretches the life of items for years. What's more, many frugal people go one step further. They resell repaired goods. A pair of sneakers with a new sole or a polished secondhand table can fetch a decent price online. Platforms like Facebook Marketplace, Vint, and eBay have made this side hustle easier than ever. It's not just about money, it's also about mindset. Repairing teaches patience and resourcefulness, while reselling creates a small income stream from things most people throw away. The modern repair and resell economy is quietly growing as people realize sustainability and savings can go hand in hand. For frugal people, fixing something broken isn't just thrift, it's turning waste into wealth and adding one more layer of freedom to their financial lives. Habit 4: they cook like economists, not chefs. Walk into the kitchen of a frugal person, and you won't always find fancy sauces or rare ingredients. Instead, you'll notice big bags of rice, beans, oats, and root vegetables. Their meals are simple, but they're built on smart math, price per nutrient. Instead of following recipes that call for costly spices or one-use ingredients, frugal people think like economists. They calculate which foods give the most energy, protein, and flavor for the lowest cost. Then, they cook in bulk, preparing base ingredients that can be reused across multiple meals. A pot of lentils today might become a stew tomorrow, a salad topper the next day, and a filling wrap by Friday. This approach isn't boring, it's creative. By remixing core foods, frugal people spend less, waste less, and eat healthier. And in a world where grocery prices have surged, this skill is powerful. In 2023, food inflation hit double digits across the US, UK, and parts of Europe, making every shopping trip feel heavier on the wallet. Cooking like an economist doesn't mean giving up flavor. It means planning smarter, stretching ingredients further, and proving that financial discipline can start right on your plate. Habit 5. They practice stealth splurging. Frugal people don't deny themselves pleasure. They simply choose when and how to enjoy it. This is what they call stealth splurging. Instead of buying small luxuries all the time, they save up for a single, intentional indulgence. For example, rather than eating out 3 times a week, they might skip casual takeouts for months and then treat themselves to one unforgettable dinner at a fine restaurant. Or instead of buying fast fashion every season, they'll invest in one quality coat that lasts a decade. This strategy does 2 things. First, it keeps impulse spending under control. Second, it turns every splurge into an event to look forward to, rather than just another expense. Psychologists note that anticipation itself creates happiness, meaning that waiting for a special purchase often feels just as good as enjoying it. In this way, frugal people enjoy luxury without wrecking their budget. Their money isn't scattered across dozens of small, forgettable purchases. It's focused on meaningful experiences or long-lasting items. Stealth splurging shows us that frugal living isn't about deprivation. It's about designing joy with intention and savoring it when the right moment arrives. Habit 6. They monetize everyday assets. Frugal people don't see their belongings as just stuff. They see potential. A spare bedroom can become a short-term rental. A driveway in a busy city can turn into paid parking. Even tools, cameras, or kitchen gadgets can be rented out through local apps. This way of thinking was boosted by the rise of the sharing economy. Platforms like Airbnb, Turo, and Fat Llama made it normal to rent out what you own. Instead of letting items sit unused, frugal people transform them into income streams. A car becomes a side hustle. A closet full of old clothes becomes a cash flow through reselling apps. The idea is simple. If something isn't in daily use, it can earn money for you. This mindset doesn't just add savings, it builds confidence and creativity. Globally, the peer-to-peer economy is expected to grow into the trillions by 2030. Frugal people are already ahead of the curve, treating assets, big or small, as tools for independence. Habit 7. They gamify their savings. Saving money can feel heavy, especially when life is full of temptations. But extremely frugal people know how to make it fun. They turn saving into a game. Some use apps that round up purchases and stash the spare change automatically. Others set no-spend challenges, where they compete with friends to see who can go a week or a month without buying extras. There are even digital trackers that light up like a scoreboard every time you hit a new savings milestone. Psychologists call this gamification, using the mechanics of play to change behavior. It works because it creates rewards, motivation, and even a bit of competition. Instead of focusing on what they're giving up, frugal people focus on the streaks they're building and the progress they're winning. This playful approach makes saving consistent, and consistency is what builds real results. Whether it's saving for an emergency fund or a dream vacation, the game keeps them moving forward. Frugality, in this case, isn't serious sacrifice, it's creative motivation. By gamifying money, frugal people prove that discipline doesn't have to be dull. When most people hear frugal, they imagine tight budgets, bland meals, and saying no to fun. But the truth looks very different. These habits aren't about living small, they're about living smart. In today's economy, where every price tag feels bigger, Frugality is less about deprivation and more about design. It's about building freedom one decision at a time. Now, if you want to learn more about achieving financial success, then watch this video next.